Look her up online. Esurance. It's surprisingly painless.
Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary wildly and that insurance isn't always your best bet. GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their prescriptions. You type in the name of your prescription, you find a coupon, and save. GoodRx works at virtually every pharmacy in America. This year, we'll save Americans over $1 billion on their prescriptions. There's no membership required with GoodRx. It's totally free, and we don't need any personal information. Go to GoodRx.com to see if you can save on your prescriptions.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you.
800-361-1910.
Right now to see if you qualify. These professional-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, spinal disorders, stenosis, and other painful back problems. Our medical-grade durable knee braces are designed for those with osteoarthritis and general knee pain and weakness. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork. And best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out.
Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-361-1910. That's 800-361-1910.
I'm Seth Jones. Are you looking for ice time?
On the next episode, patrol the blue line with some of the league's best defensemen.
I don't know. I just like thinking the game and just having the whole thing in front of me.
Ice Time, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network.
Welcome back to NHL Tonight. Discover taking us on the ice to Buffalo. Our first look at this one just underway. Dropping the puck at 7:30 or just past the bottom of the hour. Let's watch Buffalo Sabres taking on the top team in the Atlantic in the Tampa Bay Lightning.
The net beats up with Miller, lost the puck as he bumped into Nikita Kucherov, and Miller's pass is deflected to center. Victor Hedman opening with Dan Girardi. They played quite a bit together last year, so that's not really a new pairing. Here's Stamkos one-on-one shooting, and Zach Bogosian deflected that shot away. Miller storms into the corner. Stamkos with a pass. Eric Chernak, his first shift in the National Hockey League, got there in time to hold it in. He was a second-round pick of the LA Kings in 2015 and was traded to the Tampa Bay organization in the Ben Bishop deal at the trade deadline 2 years ago. He fires here, and it's sent on goal, a save by Hutton, as Stamkos looked to relay that toward the net. Rasmus Ristolainen has it for Buffalo. He's watched by Yanni Gourde. Pass ahead for Jason Pominville. It's behind him. We'll get an icing call.
Talked about that new addition to the lineup here, and watch the top of your screen here. This defenseman Chernak takes this shot. It's a little bit of a knuckleball. There's a double deflection, but 21-year-old Stamkos gets playing baseball out there, but Chernak gets called today in the middle of the day. Practiced in Syracuse, went home to take a nap and got a call from Julien Brisebois, the GM. Said, come on down to Buffalo. Let's play a game.
9 points early on for Chernak in the American League with the Syracuse Crunch. Played well in the preseason. Saw action in 5 games, and quite often he was paired with Ryan McDonough. That's the pairing to look for tonight as the Sabres go to work offensively. Here's a quick shot and a save by Domingue on the try by Jake McCabe. McCabe jousting for that puck along with Tyler Johnson. It rolls toward the net. Braden Coburn got it free. And Coburn joins the attack to center. He's finishing a shift. And it's McCabe back for the puck. He's jolted by Gourde. Evan Rodriguez there. Tampa Bay's fourth line with Adam Erne, Cedric Paquette, and their veteran leader Ryan Callahan out there. Puck loose at center, and Paquette finds it. Girardi angling it for Adam Erne. He'll step into the zone. Lets the shot go, and it's deflected wide by McCabe. Rasmus Dahlin, the 18-year-old, has the puck, number 26. Playing it for Kyle Oposo. He couldn't get out of the zone. Tampa Bay, a good session of zone time here with that fourth line. Erne deflects the pass, and it comes to Casey Middlestat. Connor Sherry held up by Girardi at center.
All right, no score early on at KeyBank Center. Buffalo's been good there of late. 4 points, or points in 4 straight games, I should say. 3-0-1 record on home ice for the Sabres. Tough test tonight, though, against the top team in the Atlantic Division. No score right now in Buffalo. Discover taking us on the ice, where we do have a score at the Rock. And most recently, we saw this Pens team go to work on the power play, 1-for-1 tonight. Going back to work here again, trying to take a 1-goal lead. Let's watch.
Malkin drops it back. Letang to the circle. Punched back by Kessel. Shot by Malkin is blocked away by Mueller. Comes right back to Evgeny Malkin. The Penguins reset. Crosby behind the net. Centering try. Wants Hornquist. This is skated out of the zone by Coleman. Here's Blake Coleman. Short-handed. Maneuvers by Letang. Oh, nearly got a shot away before it's taken back by Hornquist.
Terrific job by the Devils in their zone. Beautiful block, timed it perfectly, goes down to one leg. Mirko Mueller on the Malkin one-timer.
Here's Crosby on the puck, centering try, broken up by Lovejoy. Nearly given away by Kessel, but the retrieval by Pittsburgh. Now Phil Kessel, chased by Zacha. Works it behind the net. Crosby operating there. Malkin on the far side. Malkin holds. It's on the perimeter right now for the Penguins. The pass for Kessel. Too hot to handle. Zacha maneuvers by him and clears. Penguins big guns head to the bench. Second wave of the power play comes on. Simone, the dish to Gensel. Jake Gensel fires in. Jack Johnson on the far side. Gives back to Gensel. Mata settles the puck. Works it across. Here's Johnson. Under pressure from Coleman. Gensel to Mata. Now Simone. Penguins looking for a shot in the final seconds of the power play. This comes to Kincaid. Deflected away. Simone with a pass to the far side where Johnson's on it. Penalty time is up. Teams are back to 5-on-5. Green out of the box as a pass to Gensel is played back to Mata. Laid across and a drive by Johnson goes wide. At even strength, Devils still looking to get this out. In the final half minute of the period. Puck battle continues. Zach Aston Reese jostling for it in the corner. Mueller is there as well. Gensel plays it back. Mata, return pass from Gensel. Glove save by Kincaid with 15 seconds to go on the period.
Terrific penalty kill by the...
All right, 15 seconds to go in period number 1. Penguins and Devils tied at 1. Keith Kincaid making a big stop there on the Penguins power play chance. Last 5 starts against the Pittsburgh Penguins, 4-0-1 with a .935 save percentage. A couple of early games going on right now, getting you set for one a little bit later on. Capitals and Wild, a big one tonight. Tom Wilson had his suspension reduced by an independent arbitrator from 20 games reduced down to 14 games, which means he's eligible and will play tonight against the Wild. Let's hear from Tom Wilson on that news.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting to hear the news. Obviously a little unexpected after all this time sitting out. You just expect another day of, skating and practicing, but pretty pumped to get back in on a game day routine and get out there.
You have been working very hard for about 6 weeks, training your tail off. How difficult is it to just going to be picking up and jumping right in to an NHL game tonight?
Yeah, there will be adjustment. Obviously, it's game 1 for me, and the league's executing and playing at a pretty fast pace at this point. So I got to do whatever I can to jump right back in there, and hopefully I've put in the work and can execute and help the team out.
Tom, the league said they wanted this suspension to be a lesson for you. What have you learned?
Well, I've learned that I can't be sitting out. So that was a long time, and watched my team go into battle 15, 16 times, and that's not fun. So I got to do whatever I can to stay on the ice and control my game and make sure that I'm doing the right thing so that I don't end up in that position.
So you lead me right to the last question. You have been watching from the sidelines for 16 games. How would you review your team's play?
They've been playing great. Obviously, like I said, it's not easy to watch your team go in, and there's you learn stuff from up there, and you try and be a good teammate if they want to talk after the game, whether it's a good or bad game, and there's ups and downs. So hopefully this is a big road trip for us, and hopefully we can turn it around here and play some good hockey.
Great to have you back. Best of luck.
Thanks.
All right, so Tom Wilson back in. We'll see if he's back on that top line. See if Todd Reardon puts him there with Kuznetsov and Ovi. What's the difference of this Washington Capitals team with and without a guy like Tom Wilson on that top line?
I think Tom Wilson, you can say what you want about him in terms of his play and what he delivers, maybe offensively, but the fact of the matter is he is a big part of their identity when he's in the lineup. And when he's not in the lineup, I feel like everybody's just a little bit shorter, Reader, and I know you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And a little braver with a guy like Wilson. And I don't know if Wilson's transition into the game, other than getting up to the speed. I mean, he's not a puck handler. He's not a playmaker. He's a guy who gets in hard on the forecheck. He creates space for his teammates. He creates loose pucks by getting in hard in forechecks and putting a little bit of fear in the defenseman or the person who has the puck, thinking that they're going to get hit and hit hard, because he's a big guy who skates well and hits hard. As far as getting the puck and making plays in quick hands and getting up to speed that way, that's not his game anyhow. So I think if you were a skilled player trying to jump back in, 16, 17 games into a season, it might be a little more difficult. But for Wilson, he's just got to get up with the pace of the game and his thinking and his mind moving with his legs into the game. But as far as the Capitals, they are extremely happy to have this guy back. He can set a tempo for a team. He can take the tempo away from another team with one hit or one big play. A physical play. I'm not talking a skilled play. That's Ovechkin's job. That's Kuznetsov's job.
They got enough skilled guys on that team. Yeah.
But you have to have the mix, and he is the mix of a little bit of the brawn with the skill.
All right, going up against a good team in the Minnesota Wild, coming off what we said was the most successful road trip in franchise history, 5-0-2. And we say often that the first game back home after a lengthy road trip, there are letdowns at times. Do you expect a letdown from this Wild team, or are they just firing on all cylinders, in your opinion?
They are firing on all cylinders. They're playing tremendous hockey, but more than anything, they're getting outstanding goaltending. And if that continues, I expect them to continue this hot play. If that drops a little bit, that's the one thing I'd be watching really closely for from the Minnesota Wild. Bruce Boudreau, he does an excellent job with this group. He is so on top of them every single day. I learned this about Bruce, having him in the market that I live in. We don't always see these guys on an everyday basis when you're not in their market. I've been really impressed with the job he's done.
I liked his response to hearing Tom Wilson back tonight. He was like, oh, I wish it was tomorrow. But that just goes to show you what kind of impact a guy like Tom Wilson
Let me say one thing on Tom Wilson, though, you guys. 12 days, Reader. That's what I found an elite conditioned athlete can withstand missing before he drops from what's going on in terms of the pace of play.
Days or games?
12 days.
Days.
12 days off. Yeah, not 12 games. So I think for Tom Wilson, it's going to be really tough for two reasons to jump in. Number one, because of that, to not play for 12 days is tough. And number two, I think he's going to have to work out internally how he approaches the game. He clearly cannot bring the exact same attitude he had before. Yeah. If he does, it's going to be catastrophic for him and the Capitals.
I think it actually might help Minnesota with him in the lineup, because they're a little more focused for the Wild coming home from this road trip, knowing that Wilson's on the
detail when he's buzzing around out there.
Right.
We'll see. 43. Yeah. He said he learned he can't be sitting out watching his team go to work. We're done work. NHL Tonight still going after this, though.
On the fly, tonight after the game on NHL Network.
Sports fans are gearing up at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
I've scored some pretty good deals on Poshmark, like the Bread Air Jordan 1. This is my favorite sneaker of all time. I was able to find a pair really easily without spending a crazy amount of money.
Get $5 off your first order. Download the free Poshmark app now and use offer code LOVEPOSH.
Are you frustrated by annoying breakouts? Skin that won't clear no matter what you try? Even store-bought acne brands that just haven't worked for you? Now, finally, there's something different, and the results are astonishing. Introducing Proactive MD, a skin clearing breakthrough that is helping people just like you win their fight against acne.
Thank God for Proactive. I feel like my skin did just like a 180.
My face is not broken out anymore. Proactive MD really works.
Proactive MD is the only system with the prescription strength retinoid that penetrates deep to stop acne at the cellular level. And it keeps working for 24 hours, so new breakouts don't stand a chance.
We haven't had anything new for mild to moderate acne without a prescription in over 30 years. So the fact that it's finally available for everyone to use is so exciting.
I'm just so confident with who I am right now, and honestly, that's thanks to Proactive MD.
Better hurry, because today, Proactive MD is yours for just $19.95. More than half off. Just call 1-800-760-4941.
Proactive MD definitely works. You can't put a price on clear skin.
Order before this clock runs out, and we'll also include our must-have charcoal pore cleansing brush, a $55 value, free.
The brush is able to get in places that my fingers aren't able to get into. Voila, new fresh face.
And listen to this. Act fast and get our customer favorite Green Tea Moisturizer free. That's 2 free gifts worth $75. But hurry, because supplies will not last. Proactive MD is guaranteed to work or your money back, but keep the free gifts no matter what. Get this brand new offer, a $120 total value for just $19.95. Call 1-800-760-4941 or go to proactive.com right now.
Hockey can be exciting.
Buckle your Let's go.
And often, it's beyond words.
It'll just blow your mind wherever I'm going to post.
Set up your night of hockey every afternoon with NHL Now.
That's taking it to a whole nother level.
Weekdays 4 Eastern on NHL Network.
Welcome to the excitement of NHL tonight, presented by American Express. Tony Luffman, Kevin Weeks, and he likes to be called Perry, I've learned. Some of us still refer to him by his player name of Mark Parrish. But Perry and Weeksy, how about the Detroit Red Wings? When they started this season and stumbled out of the gates, one win in the first few weeks of the season, people wondered, is it going to be another rough year? Wins in 6 of their last 7. Are you buying this improvement?
Perry?
Sort of. Sort of. It's, you know, I like what they brought to the table lately, but there's still a bit of a young squad. The coaching staff, they're still going to have to do a little bit more for a little bit longer for me to really put them into that clump of top teams in the West.
I would agree with that. My biggest thing with them is what's their identity? Okay. What are we looking for from them on a nightly basis? I'm not necessarily sure. Are they high-skilled? Kind of. Not really. Are they a physical team? Are they a power team? Are they more of a finesse team? Do they attack off the rush? Are they off the cycle? But all that to say, they're playing well. So let's give them their due. Right now, they're playing very well. And typically, they get really good goaltending, coming off of an amazing performance by Bernier. But Jimmy Howard's been really good all season long as well.
1-7-2. And to your point about sustained results, this is the team. 25 straight years going to the playoffs, I understand, where it would take some time to believe again. Let's check in on their game. They are in action right now. Wings hosting the Oats.
Taken away, though, by Clayton Keller. On it goes for Connaughton. Back comes Mantha, kicked ahead. He's got Fisher, the forward, playing back. Takes him wide.
Oh.
Scores!
Look at this. He's hot. Well, that's exactly what we talked about on the open, about number 39. And when you get a forward playing defense, you always have an advantage. Look at that shot by Mantha. He knows exactly where he wants to go. Top corner, over the catching glove. He got a piece of it, Kemper. But
the back of the net. In front of the goal. It went off Glendening. Comes back to the line to Kaiser. Feeds it off. Cholowski a shot. Kaiser just kept it in. Here's Cholowski. Scores!
Oh, boy, I love this. You know, I talk about this sustained game. This is the Red Wings of old right here. This is the Russian 5 in the offensive zone on Cholowski's goal. They're just sustained pressure, right? Puck retrieval, getting it back to the point, getting pucks and bodies. Where's Thomas Holmstrom, Nick Lidstrom, Brian Rafalski? I mean, this is
those
right
names
here. Abdelkader doing a great job. Kemper, no chance. What a beautiful shot by Cholowski here, right here. Defensemen aren't supposed to snipe like that. That's almost unfair.
Especially given that young age. But when we talk about this team, he is one of the bright spots, I should say, on this Wings team. Everybody I've spoken to raves about his skill and his hockey sense, and a great screen in front of the net. Abdelkader playing the role of Thomas Holmstrom, but a nice example.
And that's what made those Red Wings teams of old so awesome. It wasn't just the skill, it was they got to those hard areas, the dirty areas, and
to speak. But quite frankly, I really think that in the case of Darcy Kuemper, he's going to argue that he's back down into the blue paint. There's some merit to that, but he had the wrong sight line on the puck anyway.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I was interested to see how the former goalie was going to go after this one, because I know where I was leaning on this. I know where I was leaning on this one. And yes, I think Abdelkader did a great job, and literally that was my goal, was to put my butt in the goalie's face every single time. Abdelkader did a great job of it, and to be honest with you, Kuemper really, I didn't see him fighting to get around or anything like that. There was I didn't see any hindrance there.
And Kemper's a big man, 6'4", 210, 215. He could be looking over Abdelkader, at the very least looking around Abdelkader. And here's one of those instances where goalie coaches talk about battling for position, battling to get a sight line on a puck. Not to say that he was lethargic per se, Darcy Kuemper, but he ends up going down. His default move is to go down in a butterfly, and there wasn't really much work, so to speak, in terms of trying to not only set his feet, but establish a sight line. Let's see what the refs say.
After reviewing the play, the call on the ice is going to stand. We have a goal.
There you go.
And I got a question for you, Weeksy. Sure. What happens if instead of Kuemper just dropping straight down, what if he kind of slowly moves forward a little bit into Abdelkader? Then he helps draw that penalty. He makes it an easier call instead of it just kind of being gray area.
No question. And by doing that, to your point, he would have then established the fact that he's maximizing his spot within the crease. But as not doing that, he's not giving the refs much of a decision to make here. That's the point. No doubt.
And we just saw Kuemper a little bit of a reset. You've taught us, and Braden Holtby has shown us by squeezing his bottle that's kind of like, okay, I'm putting it behind me. The verdict came down. It counts. It's 2-0. For Kuemper, it's his 4th straight start. Antti Raanta placed on IR with that lower body injury. Can this team maintain its positive progress without Raanta, who was so crucial for their closing stretch last year and then the promising start?
Well, if I'm Darcy Kuemper right now with what happened to him in Minnesota, this is his opportunity. This is an opportunity where he can jump up, take control, show that he has earned and can be and wants to be a legit #1 starting goaltender in the National Hockey League.
It's a great opportunity for him, and it's unfortunate as we take a look at Jacob Chychrun, who is a recipient of a new contract extension, so congrats to him. Grew up in the NHL, just reading his lips. Grew up in the NHL's battled some knee injuries, but he's an absolute physical specimen. So too was his dad during his NHL playing career. And let's hope now that good health and good fortunes are on his side, because I really think he has a lot of upside that's yet to be realized as a young defenseman in this league, Perry.
Absolutely, and as any young defenseman, and especially as you said, a physical young defenseman, he's got to be at 100%. You can't go into these battle areas, you can't go into the corners and hope that your body's going to hold up and hope that all these injuries, these nagging injuries aren't going to bother you. You've got to go in 100% convinced that you are going to physically own that forward you're playing against.
Mantha and Cholowski with goals, and we're watching live. Discover is taking us on the ice on NHL Tonight.
Now, the only gamble is that you've got 3 guys in between 16 and 20 that could have taken Cholowski. That's where the bingo balls come out, you know. But it all seems to have worked out, at least for the choices. And now, will those choices develop into, you know, really good, solid NHLers or not? Only time's going to tell that. But Cholowski and several others on this Red Wing team are thinking the same thing.
Here comes Dylan Larkin. Finds Jensen. And that's off a stick and out of play.
Boy, Dylan Larkin with that speed of his absolutely opens up everything. If you don't back up when Dylan Larkin is coming at you, he's going around you and making you look silly. This kid has got an engine like a diesel.
He just goes and goes and goes. He's amazing. And he's got great power in those legs. Watch him. See him go. Look at that. Bang, bang, bang. 3 steps. Pulls up. Bang. Nice play over to Jensen. Line change time. Still watching. Oh, boy.
10 points the past 7 games for Dylan Larkin. Gus Nyquist, the past 7, has 8 points. Piling up the assists. Nyquist has it again. Athanasiou back for him. He fanned on. Jensen for Kronwall. And a rink-wide pass to Frans Nielsen for Athanasiou. Fakes the shot. Takes the shot. And that was stopped by Kemper. Caught up with the linesman was Kronwall, so sorry about that on the way by. Jensen to get it. Arizona in the midst of completing a change. Gus Nyquist fed it through on the wing for Abdelkader, then it's knocked away and back come the Coyotes. Sent in by Dylan Strome. Up there along with Cousins and Krause.
So a 2-goal lead there. Discover takes us on the ice to Wells Fargo Center, where we have no score. 4 minutes in, Panthers on a power play. Remember, the Flyers came into this one red hot. 3 straight wins, 5-0-1 in their last 6. We're watching on NHL Tonight.
Huberdeau, he is checked, and it's cleared all the way down by Provorov. Oh, good aggressive play. Radko Gudas, the Flyers in general, more aggressive Saturday against Chicago in their PK, and really well-timed aggressiveness there. Now look at the numbers. Flyers ending their streak of allowing a power play goal against at 9 by going 4 for 4 on the kill against Chicago. Right there, trouble with the referee. Finally, the Flyers get it, and they find Giroux, but he couldn't hang on at the Florida line. We've seen that trouble with pucks and ref skates once too often recently. Indeed. Sachet and Gostisbehere. Here is Yandel. Starting up. That pass, he hits Trocheck with speed. The quick shot gloved by Elliott Ilangan with 39 seconds left on the power play. Well, what a season Radko Gudas has put together. And when you have a player with his back to you and his face to the boards going to the puck, force him, go right to him. Much more aggressive on the penalty kill, and it's working for the Flyers so far on this one. In general, you would say the Flyers not as aggressive as some other teams on the penalty kill, but Dave Hakstol wants to see a little bit more of that making plays while shorthanded. That doesn't mean taking risks to make offensive plays. It means making plays defensively, right? Aggressive, you bet, with and without the puck. Yeah, you talked about that. An example. And here's one made on the forecheck as Lawton steals the puck from Matheson. And that will lead to a lot of time being worn off the power play clock as Lawton sends it back down the ice. 20 seconds remaining now in the Couturier minor. Here's Matheson. Dropping it back to the Toronto. Make the tank. Across the Philadelphia line. Off to Ekblad. Drops it back without a stick is Matheson. But Laterra lost his stick as he tried to go after it. Now Provorov just backhands it, and it'll make its way out. Couturier out of the box, but getting there just in front of him was Hoffman. Not sure Provorov had that in mind, but he almost sprung Couturier out of the box. Now back to five-a-side hockey, but here's Petrano with speed through center. Petrano holds on, bumped by Gudas, dropped it up, shot Matheson, and the save, Elliott. He will hang on. You need to check out the Authentic Fan ticket package on December the 20th. Fans with his special ticket will get great seats, a limited edition hat.
Good news for Phillies PK, getting the kill there. 30th in the league. They've given up a power play goal in 9 of the last 10. While we're on the topic of streaks, how about this club? Discover taking us on the ice to watch the Wild at home against the reigning Stanley Cup champion Caps. Wild have not lost in regulation at home this season. We're going to talk about the Wild, but first let's talk about the guy who just had the puck glance off his stick, Perry. Tom Wilson back in immediately after the decision that his suspension would not last 20 games. What do you want to see from him in this game?
Energy. I want to see his energy, and I want to see how long his energy lasts. As we were talking about earlier, there is nothing that compares to playing in the NHL, the physical contact. It's one thing going out there and doing skating drills, getting a lot of cardiovascular work. It's a whole different ballgame when you got Ryan Suter leaning on you, fighting for that puck. You cannot prepare for that body weight. The only way to prepare for it is to go out there and do it. I'm really excited to see how well his energy holds up throughout this game.
I am as well. And you know what? A little bit of responsibility now. Some of the onus is going to be on Tom Wilson. In fact, let me check that. A lot of that onus will be on him going forward. His teammates love him. The coaching staff loves him. So too does the organization. They've given him that extension, which he's earned. He brings a unique dimension to not only this team specifically and that top line when he's on that, but also this league. As I say, he's a current version of Milan Lucic to what he was Lucic during his tenure in Boston, especially during their cup-winning year. So now that onus is going to be on him, responsible. Get in on the forecheck, be physical, open space, but also be responsible, not necessarily be in the box and make any ill-advised plays.
So the suspension goes from 20 games down to 14 because of the arbitrator's decision. Caps fans want to know, can he help us be as good as we were in the spring when he was a key contributor to that team winning its first ever cup? What do you think?
Absolutely he can. The big question is the coaching staff going to be able to get them there?
That's a great point.
Please expound.
That's a great point.
Because that's a big change in terms of what we see now. Reardon to that top spot. Barry Trotz gone. Your read on it.
Well, you can look at the teams. Look at the difference between the Islanders last year and the Capitals from last year right now. Barry Trotz has taken his regime to the Islanders. The Islanders' defense has just shored right up without their lineup changing much. Now, Washington, a couple changes here. Obviously, Beagle's gone. There are some changes that matter. But for the most part, especially their decor, they're the same. Well, why are they struggling now? I would have to say you've got to put a lot of that on Barry Trotz.
Barry Trotz, I mean, there's no question about Barry Trotz's impact on any organization he's been a part of. And right now, these are real steep shoes to fill coming in for Todd Reardon. And, of course, nobody's expecting him to necessarily replicate, per se, the success that they had. But at the same time, these are some of the things that are going to be indicators. How's the penalty kill? How are you defending at even strength? What's the shift length like? All the little different details of the game that the Washington Capitals finally got in their favor and they committed to as a group in the Stanley Cup playoffs, which allowed them to ultimately hoist Lord Stanley.
If Patty Eliash were here, I would hand him a microphone. I'd ask for a spotlight because it looks like Bono. And then I would ask him to sing With or Without You. Tom Wilson, we can't live with or without you. Even though he didn't play for the Caps, I still think it would be fun. They agree. Let's talk about it because without him, you saw the numbers there. This is a guy who we've heard many, many times. People talk about he's a marked man because of the colorful history, suspensions. The Sundqvist hit was in the preseason 20-game suspension. Let's discuss from a mindset perspective what has to happen for him so that he doesn't run afoul of the NHL law again.
Well, the most important thing we want to see from him is his game not to change. Now, obviously, the hits, he's got to be much more careful. He's got to realize that he's under a microscope right now. The first line of defense is the referees. Well, the referees know who he is. You know the referees talk to each other before the game. They're talking about who's on the ice. All right, hey, that Wilson, we can't miss anything. If we miss something that ends up being suspendable, well, that goes on their record. So he is a guy that is going to be under such a microscope. Will that change his style of game? Because his game can't change, but the suspensions do.
And the severity of the suspensions may. So fortunately for him, the arbitrator ruled in his favor by way of reducing that to 14 games. That was a total of 16 that he ended up serving. And he will get some of that money back, as I'm told. But the key for him going forward is saying, hey, I know that I'm a unique player that brings a nice dimension to this group. I'm a space creator. I create space. I can create time, and I can create space. Two of the most coveted things on the rink. You hear guys talk about it, time and space, time and space. Well, he can create both by way of his physicality, by way of his ability to skate, and his size and his strength. And that opens things up, not as much for Ovi, because Ovi's a bull already. But for Kuznetsov, that opens things up a little bit. That allows him a little bit more time for the extra look away, fade away, dish, whatever the case may be.
And I think that's the most important, too. Not creating the space for him, it's for everyone else.
Because that can lead to this. When Kuzi starts doing that, good things are happening. His teammates ecstatic that he's back. Look at this tweet from TJ Oshie. Free Willy 3, the rescue. The world premiere of Free Willy 3 coming to you live tonight in St. Paul with exclamation points. Couldn't be more excited for Tom Wilson to get back in the lineup. The rescue, right side. Classic stuff there on Twitter. Quick break here. When we return, Jordan Eberle and the Isles. You heard these guys praising Barry Trotz and what he's doing. Looks like they've got it going again. Come right back.
NHL Tonight is presented by American Express, the powerful backing of American Express. Don't live life without it.
Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary wildly and that insurance isn't always your best bet. GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their prescriptions. You type in the name of your prescription, you find a coupon, and save. GoodRx works at virtually every pharmacy in America. This year, we'll save Americans over $1 billion on their prescriptions. There's no membership required with GoodRx. It's totally free, and we don't need any personal information. Go to GoodRx.com to see if you can save on your prescriptions.
Let's be honest. Every insurance company tells you they can save you money. Save up to 10% when you bundle with Esurance.
Including me, Esurance spokesperson Dennis Quaid.
He's a pretty good spokesperson.
Yeah. So when I say drivers who switched from Geico to Esurance saved an average of $412, you probably won't believe me. Hey, actor lady whose scene was cut.
Hi.
But you can believe this Esurance employee, Nancy Abraham. Seriously, send her an email and ask her yourself.
No emails.
No emails. When insurance is affordable, it's surprisingly painless.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? Are you suffering from chronic back pain or knee pain? You may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace or knee brace covered by Medicare at little to absolutely no cost to you. These professional-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain. Will you qualify for a Medicare-covered back brace or knee brace? There's only one way to find out.
Call the Back and Knee Brace Center at 800-393-5829. That's 800-393-5829.
This is Wednesday Night Hockey, where the greatest goal scorers come to play. St. Louis looks to light it up in Chicago, led by their main man, Vlad Tarasenko. But the Windy City's Patrick Kane can't stop blowing past the opposition. Get ready for a Wednesday Night Hockey doubleheader beginning 8 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. NHL Network brings you the best of the week every week with Top Shelf. The top goals. The top saves. All the top plays on Top Shelf. See what you missed.
What a play!
Relive what you experienced.
It's a hat trick! Another power play goal!
Catch a brand new NHL Top Shelf every Saturday night, 6 Eastern. Only on NHL Network.
Welcome back to NHL Tonight, presented by American Express. To Barclays.
And everybody's healthy alongside Pettersson as well.
It'll be an awful hard line to defend against with all that skill and youth.
Granlund for Hutton. Hutton for Leipzig. Leipzig looks over his options. Louis Eriksson parked in front of Greiss. They move it to Hutton and back for Leipzig. He cuts to the net, takes a shot. Eriksson the save, and then it goes in. Jake Virtanen on the rebound, a power play goal. The Canucks back within one.
Well, and that's why you just shoot the puck.
Boy, I tell you what, right now, the old school goal scorer loving rebounds in me is impressed by this right here. Great job by Vancouver, power play, moving the puck around, taking advantage of shots. Louis Eriksson in front of Greiss, and wow, Virtanen right here, making absolutely no mistake, right to his forehand, right up under the bar. Greiss has no chance. Needs a little bit of help from Casey Cizikas, I think, has got to help out a little bit with all the guys in there. Sneaks in there, wins the puck battle. Great power play goal. Old school classic NHL power play. I love it.
No question. Nice shot by Virtanen going upstairs. He's having himself a season. He's starting to come around and really not only be productive, but speaking to people in Vancouver, they say he adds a little bit of a different dimension. He's not a prototypical power forward the way we'd know them to be from a fighting and power standpoint, but in terms of his size and willingness to work the boards and get to the middle, it's paying off for him and the Canucks right now.
Virtanen, 3 goals in his last 4 games. It is a 2-goal lead for Detroit and a 5-on-3 PP chance as we jump in.
Nyquist across, Larkin back in front, Green with a shot, it's blocked. Hjalmarsson, one of the better shot blockers in the league, scores! Rasmussen from Larkin, and they'll stay on the power play.
All right, talk about power play goals. I'm in love with this right here. Great job by Detroit, moving around on the 5-on-3. Rasmussen standing in front of Kemper right now, just taking a beating in front. A couple of cross checks. Watch this hand-eye. He might be halfway in the air when he knocks this thing in. Great little pass by Larkin over here. There he gets up once. He's on his knees, sticks with it. I love that goal.
And Dylan Larkin's becoming a little bit more of a complete offensive player. You hear them talk about his speed, his acceleration, his power, but I like some of the hockey sense that I'm seeing from him. Instead of just dusting that puck off or trying to shoot it himself, watch him on the left of your screen. He waits, now he's got it. He settles it down. Okay, let me wait. Let me wait for him to get inside body position on the defender, Demers, and then I'm snapping it in there to Rasmussen.
I love it. And you can almost see Dylan looks him up, and you see Larkin's eyes there just for a quick second. He looks off Rasmussen, looks to the slot, throws it right there. And are you kidding me? The confidence in Larkin to having Rasmussen to where he's not even on his feet yet, and he puts it right on his tape, boom, goal.
And can we get a disco ball at Little Caesars Arena to honor Dan Bylsma, their assistant coach, running the PP? They were 24th on the man advantage last year. They're in the top 10 coming into tonight. They're already 1 for 2. It's good to have a Jack Adams winner running that. Hats off to Jeff Blashill for making that move. Back to Barclays. Isles 3, Canucks 2 past the midway point, and the home team on a PP as we watch live on NHL tonight.
Here's a shorthanded chance for Antoine Roussel to come in and take a shot that changed directions off Bailey's defensive effort. Bryce able to handle it.
Well, you make changes. You know, not only you make changes, different positions on the power play, but you change the personnel, and that usually gets the message across that, hey, whatever you're doing is not good enough, and one of the things you're not doing is shooting. So
Barry Trotz is full of great lines as the Canucks clear this one down, but one of the ones about not shooting enough, he said, when everyone's a playmaker, there's no plays that get made.
That's exactly right. Somebody's got to be a little selfish. They got to shoot the puck.
Boychuk on the drop for Matt Barzal. This is, for lack of a better term, now the second unit for the Islanders as the reigning Calder Trophy winner. Sets up on the half wall, plays it out for Nelson, across for Boychuk. Back to Nelson. Barzal moves to the other side of the ice. Boychuk gives it to him. The option is in front for Clutterbuck, and he tried the one-timer, hit the skates of Goodbranson. Boychuk slowed it up, but has to play it out in the neutral zone.
That was a good try to get the puck into the slot area. You got a right-hander giving it to a right-hander, so he sees a lot more of the ice on that side as opposed to playing your offside.
He's got the feet moving here, but his pass was knocked out of the zone by Granlund. Right back in comes Nelson. Chipped on the wall for Ladd. Ladd tried to move it around. It didn't quite get to Clutterbuck. Boychuk steps in with the skates to play it. Then Ladd around for Clutterbuck. And he got hugged onto there by Granlund. Barzal. Power play in its final seconds. Nelson with a look. Drags and shoots. And Schaller with a kick save and a beauty. Out of the box comes Pouliot. Barzal handling here. Power play's over. Pressure is not. Barzal looking for a pass. Takes the shot off the post instead. It kicks right out for Granlund, and he'll lay it to the neutral zone, and over comes Boychuk to collect it.
When you have nothing else to do, Brendan, why not shoot it? And that one almost goes in as it rings off the goalpost from a real tough angle.
This one right at the blue line off the skate, and it jumps into the Islanders bench for the whistle.
So it is a 1-goal game. In the second period, the Isles with a 3-2 edge. Meanwhile, while we're thinking about the state of New York, how about those Buffalo Sabres? No score late in the first, hosting the Bolts.
Sabres get it. Dahlin, watched by Gord. Now it's Reinhart shooting, and they score! Skinner popped it in, out in front. And Buffalo opens the scoring.
Wow, what a season it's been for Jeff Skinner. What a season it's been for Jeff Skinner. I had a chance to talk to him last week down at the Garden, and he talked about this team starting to get traction and how he loves playing on this line with Jack Eichel and Pominville. Well, take a look at the offensive draw. This time it's Reinhart in place of Pominville. But look at the motion for the Buffalo Sabres. Please, motion everywhere, movement everywhere. Skinner with 13 so far in the season, Perry.
This is the Buffalo team that everybody was expecting from last year. We all expected him to take a step last year. Housley comes in as a coach and kind of stumbled a little bit. Now this year, boy, they're playing with confidence. And this young line, I dare say it, that these guys by the end of the season could maybe rival that big line in Buffalo if they can keep this kind of motion up. How hard is that to defend?
No question.
And while you're talking about the end of the season, it's never too early to start thinking playoffs. Oh, Pegulas, the people of Buffalo love you. They ended the Buffalo Bills' futility getting to the playoffs last year, and look where the hockey team is. If the playoffs began today, they'd be in. That fan base so passionate, and that ownership group so committed. Good for them. Look at this. Tom Wilson getting loose for the game. He's back in the lineup. And there's been a goal in that game. Was he involved in it? We'll find out right after this.
On the Ice is presented by Discover Card. We treat you like you treat you.
Sports fans are gearing up at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
I won't give up, no stopping me now. I'm climbing higher. I ain't coming down.
Coors Light is lagered, filtered, and packaged cold for peak refreshment. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
I could never find a great jacket that fit well and could carry everything I wanted. That's when I found Scotty Vest. Scotty Vest is the only jacket you'll ever need.
They took a classic well-made jacket and packed it with thoughtfully designed features. Scotty Vest is made with strategically designed pockets. They comfortably hold all my gear without weighing me down.
It's super lightweight, so it feels great when I wear it on a hike.
And the comfortable fabric keeps me warm, even in the winter.
The strategically placed pockets hold everything I need. It's like it was designed just for me.
When I'm wearing my Scotty Vest, I feel ready for anything. Ready for work, ready for travel, ready for adventure.
Scotty Vest, featuring weather-resistant fabrics, styles for all seasons, and high-capacity pockets that carry everything you need. Visit ScottyVest.com today and get 20% off with code TV20.
We wanted to sell our home and at the best price, and we needed a real estate agent who could get that done. We're so glad we found HomeLight. HomeLight ranks over 1 million agents based on their actual track record. They crunch the numbers to figure out who is best in your neighborhood, who can sell your home for the most money. HomeLight matched us with Alex. He sold our home in only 2 days for $40,000 over asking. When it's time to sell, the place to go is HomeLight.com.
We all love the weekend.
How deep is your love?
It's when we finally get to do our favorite things. And since our favorite thing is hockey, we're setting you up with an amazing lineup of live games.
This is gonna be something great.
Featuring some of the best players the world has ever seen.
Get ready. This is it. It was a beauty. What a shot. Here we come.
Here's what's coming up on this week's Hockey Weekend.
Welcome back to NHL Tonight, presented by American Express. To the Xcel Energy Center.
Sinek creates a loose puck, but Juice they able to cover it up. Now it's Eller over the Minnesota line. Eller forced to the outside by Suter. Maintains the puck on the backhand. Carries up high in the zone. Now looks, sends it back to the weak side. And they score. Orlov beats Dubnyk over the glove side. And the Capitals have the game's first goal.
Sniper?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yes.
Did anybody? I still haven't seen the puck. I saw the mesh move. That was it. I mean, when you can walk in on your offhand, on your forehand like this, you just can't leave him that open. Somebody's got to get out there. Dubnyk doesn't stand a chance. He only needs, how big's a puck? A couple inches? I mean, just makes no mistake. I mean, just beautiful shot. Steps right into it. Leans into it, and he doesn't have to lean into it much, and it's a laser.
Pinpoint accuracy. Nice job by Connolly occupying Matt Dumba in front of the net and then getting separation. He'll spin off a Dumba and forces Dumba to be the lone screen in front of Devin Dubnyk, but perfectly placed shot by Orlov. His first of the season, caps up one at the X, your stomping grounds.
That's right. As we come on camera, we get a chance to show Minnesota fans and NHL fans from all over. Mark Parrish is with us, one of the newer additions to our team alongside Weeksy, Tony Luffman. 7 straight wins for the Caps over the Wild. That's certainly something that fans are aware of. How aware of that would the players be?
You're aware of it when the media brings it up. Especially, I mean, it'd be different if they're both in the East or both in the West, but seeing that they're East and West, you know, you only see each other once, twice a year. It's no big deal. Obviously, you want to end that streak as fast as possible, but it's not like they circled the Washington Capitals. The Wild didn't circle the Washington Capitals in their calendar.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for the Caps is because they play that power skill game, when they're going, they're kind of a handful to be able to match up against, because the Wild don't necessarily play that power skill game. They have guys that can. They have guys that sometimes do, but not as consistently. And they're not really a high-end pace skill team either in terms of speed, the Wild. They're somewhere in between, but whatever it's been excellent. They're off to a great start right now. They're playing real well.
And one of the guys who's been excellent, a fellow USA Olympic hockey alum like this guy, a national treasure, Zach Parise, healthy and productive. And you pointed out earlier when we were talking about him that this is the kind of Zach Parise you remember playing in Jersey.
Absolutely. This is what earned him that contract in Minnesota. You can tell when your body's bothering you, when your back's alienating, we saw a glimmer of it last year when he came back before he broke his sternum, where he was skating again. He was feeling like the Zach Parise of old. He looked like the Zach Parise of old. And when Zach is going, he is the engine that moves this Minnesota Wild team. When he starts skating, everyone else has to keep up with his work ethic, has to keep up with his determination, and that is one of the main reasons. That and Devan Dubnyk are main reasons why Minnesota is playing so well.
No question. I remember talking to Zach Parise last year with him kind of debating as if whether or not he was going to have back surgery. And him telling me just his quality of life had been literally compromised and minimalized, so to speak. And I was like, are you sure it's your back? Are you positive it's your back? He's like, I have to get this done. I just have to get it done. And then speaking to him post-op, he said, I feel great. I feel like a new person. And as you pointed out in the meeting, Tone, when he was healthy last year, especially when he returned, coming down the stretch, he was excellent for them.
Yes.
So it's nice to see him, one of the great guys in the game now, over 700 points now in his career. One of the great guys in the game, certainly highly respected. I love playing with him. Happy to see him back and healthy and playing the way he typically does when he's right.
Parise and the Wild down by a goal. We'll check back in there. Now, let's get back to the team that Parise used to play for. Helped the Devils to the 2012 Cup Final, tied at 1 against the Pens in Jersey. Second period, we're watching.
By DeSmith, that was Taylor Hall with the chance. On the puck again is Hall. Drops it back. Severson scores! David Severson let it rip. Devils have the lead.
Well, this all starts by terrific work between Pavel Zacha and Jesper Bratt as they move the puck. Let's take a look at a $1 million replay brought to you by the New Jersey Lottery. Remember, anything can happen in Jersey. Here's where I'm talking about switching lanes, controlling the puck. Bratt shields it there on Johnson, sets up Taylor Hall in a beautiful backhand pass to Smith. Terrific save. Taylor Hall gets it back behind the net. He finds a wide open.
Left two, Zajac and Severson for the lead. Cini with a pass for Coleman. Puck comes to Dumoulin, who'll skate this away and give to Kessel. Under 6 minutes to go in the second. Devils trying to snap a 3-game losing skid. Long pass ahead. Here's Bratt. Scores! And there's a fight behind the play.
Oh my, this is going to be interesting. They were just engaging. Jesper Bratt was going the other way. In all alone, he snaps home a goal. The goal siren is going. I don't think the whistle was blown, Kanji, prior to Jesper Bratt putting this puck home to make it a 3-1 lead for the Devils. Brett Cini's been intense, engaged. He's not the biggest guy. He plays with a big heart, as you see the scars on his face from the last couple of games, but eventually him and Phil Kessel drop the mitts. They end up just wrestling to the ice, and now the referees and linesmen are huddling around. There they are engaged right here, going at it. And Jesper Bratt walks in, puts it home. You see a penalty is going to be called. I don't know who was getting the initial call. I assume it was Kessel because he gave Cini the initial shot. So I believe there's a good chance this goal. Well, maybe it's not. I thought.
There's no goal on the play. The whistle is gone.
It did go.
The penalty's on the play. 81 Pittsburgh. Got 4 minutes. Rough thing. New Jersey's got a minor roughing.
It's a Devils power play, but no goal.
That's a bad break for the Devils.
5:40 to go in the second.
Perry, you were going wild when a skill guy like Phil Kessel throws down. Why?
Because skill guys aren't supposed to fight. Those hands are supposed to be scoring goals, and I love the fact that Phil getting his boys going a little bit, getting feisty like that. Guy's got a few Stanley Cup rings. He doesn't need to be breaking fingers in a fight.
And it's Hockey Fights Cancer Month. The cancer survivor Phil Kessel getting into it here. Look at how this comes about.
I love it. I love that he's...
on the play. The whistle is gone. The penalty's on the play. 81 Pittsburgh.
I love that Dr. Phil just had out the weed whacker. Didn't care. Weed whacker, hacking, whacking, whatever. Tough news for Jesper Bratt, though, because that would have been nice for him to get on the board. You see him wearing that fish bowl. That injury prevented him from being able to play at home in Sweden in front of family and friends.
So unfortunate.
Man, that was unfortunate timing for him.
Discover taking us live on the ice to watch this Devils power play. Already in front 2-1 with 5.5 to go on NHL Tonight.
The board. Here's Hall, who starts with a face-off win for the Devils as it's controlled by Butcher. Devils with the lead and the man advantage as Butcher gives here to Hall. He'll drop back. Sheahan and Hagelin on the kill here for Pittsburgh. Hall ahead for Marcus Johansson. Drops a pass for Butcher. Works it in deep. Puck gets by Taylor Hall. Palmieri there as well. Taken back by the Penguins. Letang will work this ahead. And Carl Hagelin on the move shorthanded will softly dump in. Penguins opt to get fresh legs on. Under 5 minutes to go in the second period. Marcus Johansson gives here to Hall, who carries ahead. Here's Taylor Hall over the line. Working on a 2-assist night. Continues with the puck through a maze of white jerseys and drops it back for Butcher. Now the Devils set. Johansson. Butcher at the top. To the circle. Hall operating there. Chase back. The dish by Palmieri. Back for Butcher. Hall looking to set up Johansson. The pass never got through. Rust will work it across. And here come the Penguins shorthanded. Matt Cullen. Rust in tight. Save by Kincaid.
Great glove save.
Dumoulin with a shot block. Here's Miles Wood on the continuation of the power play. Kincaid's finest moment of the night.
After the save, shorthanded off of Rust, the puck rolled right on the goal line and wide. And that all started from a great stick on the penalty kill by the Penguins. I don't know which player it was. Taylor Hall tried to feed Johansson.
Here's Vatanen. 5 seconds to go on the power play. His shot got through to DeSmith. Jamming and a rebound, Miles Wood. Casey DeSmith has got it.
And there's a battle in front with Miles Wood. He's played an energetic game here thus far. That's when he's most effective. Let's take a look at this huge save as the Penguins are shorthanded. That's the pass.
Boy, right here, I'm a little heartbroken here. I got to take a moment of silence. My boy Cully making a great play. Oh, unbelievable by Kincaid. Shorthanded attempt. You know, they say goaltenders are supposed to be your best penalty killers, but I didn't know they were supposed to be your best power play players
There you go.
either.
There you go. Well said. Beautiful save. Vintage, old school save by Keith Kincaid. Wow, nicely done. Great reaction, and then tracking that with his eyes the entire way, even on the rebound and getting back to that short side post. Timely save, I might add, as well, to keep that one-goal cushion for the Devs.
No kidding. Great point about penalty kill, power play. We'll keep an eye on this one in Jersey, a 2-1 score. Meantime, in Philly, Cats and Flyers. No score yet, almost midway through.
Pass back, and Matheson has it. Well, right across the line, and deal it to Hoffman. They're set up. Matheson back to the middle of the ice. Deals it to Hoffman. Hoffman down low. Redirection save. Rebound. They score. It went off of Elliott and in. Ekblad will get the goal. Power play tally makes it 1-0 Florida.
Well, that breaks the seal. So for a lot of you fans down there in South Florida, maybe this is good news for you, because Aaron Ekblad, we were just saying off camera, playing 22 minutes a game, only 2 assists so far. And well beneath the production rates that you'd expect, but he's on that far side post, Does a great job of establishing that position down there. And this is a tougher goal than it looks. Why? He's on his backhand. And this actually goes off of Brian Elliott. So nice job by him just taking that sharp angle shot, Perry.
Yeah, I guess Aaron Ekblad's been playing a little bit of pool right here, banking this one in off Elliott. And a tough play off Elliott to begin with. Went off his defender, off the post, over to Ekblad. You know, he's got to recover from that. Forget about it, move on to the next.
And Hoffman with the assist on that one. Now his point streak, 13 games, tying the franchise record. Oh, my goodness. Who's your daddy?
Yes.
The Donovis. That's who. Not even Yeti.
Woo! 2-zip.
Wow, Perry, take that one.
You know, he does a good job just changing his direction, changing the angle a little bit, using the defenseman as a screen, and just rifles one just right by Elliott's ear and glove right there. I kind of have a funny feeling Elliott wants this one back.
And I kind of second your feeling. I can tell by Brian Elliott's reaction after the goal. Well defended. I mean, you got stick on towards puck, and this typically is a save that Brian Elliott makes. I can tell by the reaction here, and you'll see him just kind of nod his head like, I got to have that one. But, hey, that's why you got to shoot the puck. I'll tell you one thing right now. Florida Panthers are rolling since Roberto Luongo's been back in the cage for Bob Boughner. They've now won 4 straight. Go ahead, Tone.
Look at this bit of history.
Take us a new direction, Tone.
Candace Cameron's brother-in-law, as my wife refers to him, Pavel Bure, had the longest point streak in franchise history until tonight. Mike Hoffman's assist puts him at 13 games, which is the longest in the National this season. How about him as a fit there?
And that record's been holding on so long. I was playing in Florida.
How about it?
For crying out loud. I watched Pavel do that, for crying out loud.
He was good at hockey.
It was okay.
He could beat any goalie 5-hole. Any goalie 5-hole. It was unbelievable.
Head of the goalie union, do you agree?
I totally agree. And by the way, him and McGillney, they just thread it all the time. You knew it was coming, you couldn't defend it. Yeah.
What a compliment. You knew it was coming and you couldn't defend it.
Couldn't stop it. Automatic.
That's awesome.
Automatic.
How much fun was it as a teammate to watch that unfold? Like, here we go again.
Oh, every time he got the puck, granted, because he didn't really go inside of our end very often, so most of the time it was a breakaway or an odd man rush. But every single time he got the puck on a breakaway, we stood on the bench. We counted it. I mean, there was a goal, and he worked on it. You got to give him credit. This guy loved scoring goals. In practice, whoever the backup goalie was, as we talked about backup goalies before, poor guys take a beating, and he would take 15, 20, 25 breakaways every single practice after practice. And I'm telling you, when he scored a goal, he'd give it a pump. Like, he loved scoring goals, and it carried over. He absolutely loved scoring goals, and I'm telling you, it was incredible to watch him go down on a breakaway and just a surgeon. Just a surgeon.
How cool. And that year he led the league, 58 goals. Benny Seltzer in my ear with it instantly. I saw a great quote from him, and you can appreciate this. He said, the Russian Rocket, that he didn't see the goalie. When he was asked, how do you read and decide where to shoot, he said, I never paid attention to the goalie. What an approach.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard different goal scorers say that, too. And Mike Bossy said that as well.
He was good at scoring goals.
Also pretty good at scoring goals.
50.
But it's a different approach, whereas everybody has kind of, this is more for you, but everybody has their way of going about shooting and trying to score, either to shoot to score or shoot to create. But that's really counterintuitive to what one would think.
You know, when I was standing in front of the net on the power play, I was trying not to look at the goalie, but that was part of it too, is you had to see where the goalie was for the rebounds and trying to find holes in their armor, chinks in their armor, through their armpit, 5-hole, over the pad, whatever. I wasn't the guy standing out at the top of the circles like Bossy was, or wasn't getting a whole lot of breakaways like Burry, so that's a whole different level. Sure. But yeah, I totally understand that way of thinking, but then actually doing it is a whole different ball game. I mean, I can sit there and tell you, well, don't look at the goalie. Yeah, sure.
Right, yeah. Good
you
luck
lit
with
the
that.
lamp, too, that year. 26, according to Seltz. Atta boy.
It was close to 58.
You just ran out of time.
Halfway there.
They decided to stop playing games at 82. Not your fault. We take time out here on NHL Tonight. Getting ready for game time. Cam Talbot and Brendan Gallagher, Habs and Oil. Oh, dear.
This is bad news.
He'll be down. We'll check in on his status right after this.
On the Ice is presented by Discover Card. We treat you like you'd treat you.
I'm Seth Jones. Are you looking for ice time?
On the next episode, patrol the blue line with some of the league's best defensemen.
I don't know, I just like thinking the game and just having the whole thing in front of me.
Ice Time, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network.
Let's be honest. Every insurance company tells you they can save you money.
Save up to 10% when you bundle with Esurance.
Including me, Esurance spokesperson Dennis Quaid.
He's a pretty good spokesperson.
Yeah. So when I say drivers who switched from Geico to Esurance saved an average of $412, you probably won't believe me. Hey, actor lady whose scene was cut.
Hi.
But you can believe this Esurance employee, Nancy Abraham. Seriously, send her an email and ask her yourself.
No emails.
No emails. When insurance is affordable, it's surprisingly painless.
Most people don't know that pharmacy prices vary wildly and that insurance isn't always your best bet. GoodRx is an easy way for Americans to save up to 80% on their prescriptions. You type in the name of your prescription, you find a coupon, and save. GoodRx works at virtually every pharmacy in America. This year, we'll save Americans over $1 billion on their prescriptions. There's no membership required with GoodRx. It's totally free, and we don't need any personal information. Go to GoodRx.com to see if you can save on your prescriptions.
Stop living with hair loss, that is. Losing your hair is no fun, and no one wants to be bald. But there is hope.
Getting my hair back was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm happy with the way I look now. I'm very excited about my hair.
I feel beautiful.
I love my hair.
Hair Club offers all proven hair loss solutions backed by our commitment to satisfaction guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with the solution you choose, Hair Club will apply the purchase price to another proven hair loss solution or transplant more hair at no charge.
That was the best thing I've ever done.
It looks good on me. Call in the next 5 minutes to get your free brochure at no obligation. It will tell you everything you need to know about your hair loss problem, and it's free if you call now.
I am more pleased than what I had even imagined.
I at least look, I would say, 5 years younger.
I'm 52, and I look better now than I did when I was in my 40s.
I feel great.
And that's not all. The first 100 people who call will also receive $250 off any hair loss solution from Hair.
And much more.
Weekdays starting at 4 Eastern.
Welcome back to NHL Tonight. Discover takes us on the ice back to the state of hockey, one-zip caps.
How good a stick he is. I really do think, Anthony, that he's enjoying this challenge of playing against the top players in the world every night, and it's really bringing out the best of Jonas Brodin.
He and Jared Spurgeon have emerged as a shutdown pair for Minnesota. Not to diminish what Suter and Dumba have been, but Boudreau has used those guys often against the other team's best. Orlov carries in. Wilson driving the net, deflects it by Dubnyk, and the Capitals have a 2-0 lead.
Tom Wilson, first game back after the suspension, does a great job of driving the net. Looks like Devin Dubnyk's a little bit banged up too. Of course, Tom Wilson.
A late goal by Tom Wilson, and then Tom Wilson inadvertently running over Devin Dubnyk. I want to talk directly to all the Minnesota fans. This is not intentional. This is hard-nosed hockey. He's driving the net. It almost looks like he kind of jumped to get out of the way a little bit there. He's driving the net hard. Suter rides him in. There's really nowhere for him to go. This is just an unfortunate incident with forwards going in the net. And this is one of those situations where you have to realize, and I know I'm saying this with Weeksy right next to me, but goalies take a beating in there just from the game of hockey.
Take your time now.
And traffic calm there for a second.
Yes.
But, you know, and by another defenseman.
That's right.
Mind you,
on his strong side.
That's, you know, it's just got to be better than that, especially with 30 seconds left in the
of this Washington Capitals organization. Had some very successful seasons. won the AHL Calder Cup with some members of that team as well down in Hershey, who's now behind the bench for the Minnesota Wild. But watch his play. Suter ends up riding him, and there's nowhere for Tom Wilson to go. He's actually trying to dive to his left. To his credit, he's really putting himself, in essence, in harm's way. But good thing for Devin Dubnyk. Nice to see that he's not injured here and he's still able to stay in the game for the Wild.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a little nutshell in it.
What?
Oh, I'm surprised at this.
What's happening?
How do you get a penalty for scoring a goal?
2 minutes for scoring?
Yeah, that's a new one.
Whoa.
And now this goes back to what I was just about to talk about the scarlet letter, the guy that's got a guy that's just, he's under a microscope now. So even when he scores a goal, he still gets penalized. And I was going to say, obviously it's already changed his game because of it looked like he was trying to avoid the contact as opposed to letting it ride out. Hey, look, I've been there plenty of times before. It's easy for a forward, once you get on the defensive side of the D-man, to, oh, geez, he kind of pushed me and I went into the goaltender. It actually looked like Tom Wilson was trying to get out of the way, and I believe he was. And he still gets a power play. This is the kind of, he still gets a penalty. This is the kind of thing, will this change his game moving forward?
Fair question, because that's an honest goal. And I don't want to speak on your behalf, Perry, but you got a hockey loving state like Minnesota, passion. I mean,
I would have said psychotic, but that's okay.
I say that about back home in Canada too, Toronto as well. But all that to say, there has to be a measure of objectivity and fairness in fact. And if you weigh all that into the equation, there isn't anything he could have done better there. Like that, he went strong, he took his beeline, he was going diagonally after he scored that goal. And to your point, he went left intentionally to avoid contact with Devin Dubnyk. He's still on, watch where he's going. Keep in mind, look at how wide his feet are. Now he's basically on one leg, his right skate, okay? So he does a snowplow stop with the right skate. His left heel is up. Watch the left heel. There's nowhere for him to go. Ryan Suter pushes him in. There's nowhere for him to physically go other than try to take this directional path that he does, which is go to the left and try to dive out of harm's way and minimize the blow to Devin Dubnyk. So just to tie a bow on that, I hope that there will be some cooler heads and some common sense. And the intelligent hockey, yet passionate, but intelligent hockey people in your home state can realize that, because there's nothing else he could have done.
I don't know what else he could have done. He did exactly what you want a forward to do. You go to the net hard, drive the net hard, get the puck, bury it, and then you try and get out of the way. What else was he supposed to do?
But isn't this the point you made earlier? The first line of defense, or the officials on the ice, his reputation precedes him. They see a collision, they see 43 was in it, and
the rest is history. Yeah. And this is something that, because of his past history, he's going to have to deal with now for the rest of his career.
Yeah. And that's frustrating in an instance like this, because you know when it's malicious. You can tell when there's a bad intent. There was none of that on this play at all. And it wasn't a poor decision. There wasn't anything of that nature. This is a good hockey play. And I know a lot of people will go back, and to your point, and you're spot on with this, Perry, that there is a collection of evidence. There have been 4 suspensions. Now let's keep in mind this most current one had a reduction from what was intended to be 20. Ruled to be 20, down to 14. He served 16. There's no question about that. But on this specific play, there was absolutely nothing egregious about this play. Nothing whatsoever from Tom Wilson's point of view. It was a really good goal, a nice play by the Capitals. It's unfortunate if you're Tom Wilson right now. And the Caps, because you said they're down for scoring a goal. Now they're shorthanded.
We will continue to follow that one. Now we're watching Buffalo. Discover takes us on the ice. Sabres are up 1-0. The Bolts, both of you guys were so impressed that they made their way to the Hall of Fame. Oh, we got a goal. Here we go. 2-0.
Again, this Buffalo squad. Kyle Okposo, obviously a big signing a couple years ago from the Islanders. Another Minnesota boy, mind you. Oh, no, we hate bringing that up from Minnesota.
State of hockey. Hello.
Hate it.
Come on.
What a great shot here. Just a snipe, goal scorer's goal. Little change of redirection outside the top of the circles, and just buries it. He shot it so hard, I'm not even sure where it went here. Oh, just, you know what? Times it perfectly. Going to the net. Got a player going to the net, uses him as a screen, waits for his player to clear, shoots right behind him, heads up the whole way. Goal scorer's goal right there. Domingue just ran. He really didn't have much of a chance. By the time he let that out, you could see he threw his arms up, threw his head back out of frustration. Not much he could have done.
Fair.
And hats off to the in-arena DJ with the music in the monitor song.
Dun, dun,
right
dun,
back come the Bolts.
Anthony
Cirelli, 2-1.
I like Cirelli. I really like him. I liked him in Oshawa in the OHL. I liked him last year with the young legs and energy that he brought to the table for the Bolts down the stretch. This guy is a word. Look at Alex Killorn. You kidding me?
Nailed it.
Look at that flop shot.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. That's nice, Perry. I could tell you're a golf type man.
Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead and break that down for us here.
I couldn't even do that with my 60 degree right there. You know what that reminds me of? That's the old Pavel Demitra to Marian Gaborik.
Ooh.
Except for, I must say, that was right on the money. Pav would just lead Gaborik there and kind of let him skate into it. That was just perfect. He dropped that in. That was a 40-yarder that he drained for an eagle.
Oh! And just as we arrive here, more Wings offense. It is a 4-0 score. Tough night at the office for Darcy Kemper. They're loving it at Little Caesars Arena.
Of course they're loving it everywhere down in the Detroit area. Our boy Myers is loving this right now as well. Probably having himself a nice Swanson's TV dinner as he watches this. But anyways, Myers, we shout you. You're probably on the bench press. We know you already. Let's get back to the action. Talk about leading guys.
Whoa.
Harry, look at the stretch. The stretch pass is the theme of the night right now, ladies and gentlemen. The stretch pass, Perry.
It's incredible. And, you know, and some of these older guys want to put the red line back in. Are you kidding me? Take this stuff out of the game. This is what brings in the excitement. It's like taking a deep pass out of football. You can't take that.
Come on. True. Well said.
How about the Wings? 6 wins in their last 7 after that disastrous start. Yes.
Hot and spicy.
This is remarkable. And up 4-zip, yes.
Wow.
Use the moist towelette before taking out my contacts. I made that mistake a time or two.
Talk about them. You know, what's their identity? Well, they might just be establishing their identity right now in front of our eyes.
That's fair. And listen, this is, I mean, they've really tried to infuse some of the youth into this lineup. Be it Chalowski, Matthews, Athanasiou, Dylan Larkin. I mean, they've got some of the young legs. Rasmussen, they've got some of the young legs on this team right now. And it's nice to see some of those young legs playing dividends. But, I mean, if you're Rick Tocchet, this is pretty frustrating. There's no coverage in front of Darcy Kemper tonight. He's all alone out there so far. And Tone, you're actually seeing the veteran Derek Stepan. You were mentioning when we were upstairs watching just how he's transformed and providing that veteran leadership. And having played for the Rangers all those years, that veteran leadership that he brought to the table, going for deep Stanley Cup playoff runs, really trying to impart some of that experience and wisdom on some of those young players for the Coyotes.
USA hockey mainstay, Derek Stepan, World Juniors gold, and obviously a frequent selection. It is a 4-goal lead for Detroit as we watch live on NHL Tonight.
In for Keller. Clayton Keller, fourth side of the net. Howard bumped. Wraparound trying, it stayed out. Oh, my God. No way Howard was getting back.
Look out here. Look out here.
Went back the other way.
Just started on the boards, Ken.
It was this is what you were talking about. Derek Stepan having a feel for the situation, knowing that they're a young team on the road. They're down 4, but you still want to do some of the right things. And that's part of leading by example, Perry.
Yeah, and you know where you learned how to do that? Minnesota.
There you go.
No, you know what I like about him, too, that maybe doesn't quite get enough credit for? His edge. He's got an edge to him.
Yes, he does. Torts love that about him.
And not the widest shoulders, not really strapping physically by any stretch, but the fact that he's willing to get in there and to be a buzzsaw and still make some plays. He still plays a real important role to this Coyotes team, Tone. You were mentioning that upstairs, and nice that we're able to see some of that, even in spite of the fact that they're down 4.
And we're seeing it's a 4-0 score for the Detroit Red Wings, and they continue to build momentum after what was a nightmare start. Both of you guys were on several teams in the NHL. When you start the season the way that Jeff Blashill's team did, and everybody knows it's a contract year for him, and everybody knows that the streak ended a few years ago, what does it tell you about their group that they were able to put that behind them and go on this run, 6 wins in their last 7?
Tells me that they care about him, that they want this coach to stick around. Players know. They may say we don't read the newspaper, we don't listen to the media. We try to ignore it, but we know what's going on. They understand. They know when coaches are getting under fire. And then you're going to see how much those teams care about those coaches with how they respond to that news.
And it also shows a lot of character in that group. No question. And you were alluding to earlier the fact that on that one goal, you saw some shades of Detroit Red Wings of yesteryear based on the movement, the motion, getting to the front of the net, Abdelkader did on that goal. But what it also shows is even in the departure of a lot of those players, the lone holdover right now may be Kronwall, if that's it, or Eriksson. But having some of these young guys to learn and continue to recognize the moment, and it's tough. When you start off poorly, the walls start closing in.
Sure.
Anywhere, but let alone in an Original Six market in a real proud historic franchise like Detroit. So credit to them for being able to cut that, really get back on the horse, re-identify with the things that they want to do in their game, reestablish those things, and the results are history right now. They're playing really well in this stretch right now.
And to your point about them being Original Six and the history, and you look up at the banners and you think about all the greats from Ted Lindsay and the production line on forward and the team that you played against in the Cup final, that 0-2 Wings team, 10 Hall of Famers, ludicrous amount of talent, because that's the standard, because Wings fans love that, and Ken Holland is a common thread. There is that standard. It doesn't go away.
It never goes away.
No, it doesn't. But they also have to understand there's an ebb and flow in there. At some point, it becomes cyclical. They're going to have some quote-unquote rebuilding years. There is. But at the same time, boy, if this is just their rebuilding years, holy cow. Look forward to some great things here in the very near future, if not maybe as this year continues.
It's also an encouraging time for Isles fans. Let's check back in on New York. Difficult three-game stretch for them, but they had a lead when last we looked. Up 3-2 in the third. 3 minutes gone by on NHL Tonight.
Day-to-day. He's been day-to-day for the last 2 weeks. Brock Nelson moves it around the back of the net for Eberle. In front, Kuhnhackl scores! Tom Kuhnhackl, his second of the game, and the Islanders are ahead 4-2 for the moment.
And Markstrom argued with the referee right away, Brendan, but the referee pointed good goal. So if they do check it, it's going to have to be conclusive to overturn that. But what a play by Kuhnhackl. Is able to stay with it. The referees are huddled, but if we take another look, Kuhnhackl comes in towards the net, has the puck, and he didn't kick it forward. He's just trying to get a hold of it. So when you hit it with your skate, with the heel, he doesn't have it pointing towards the net, Brendan. It's take another look off his stick, and then the two sticks collide. And that's an angle, so that's going to be an interesting call. But the referee called a goal.
He called it a goal. Then they huddled together in front of the scorer's table, talked it over, and confirmed that the call on the ice is a good goal. And now both referees have the headset on as they are reviewing this one officially.
It's playing and the momentum, so that didn't take a whole long time, which normally.
Here's Dean Morton.
After video review, it is determined the play is a good goal.
4-2 Islanders.
Boy, and I tell you what, I was having PTSD watching that, because I remember back in the early 2000s when things weren't going all too well for the Islanders. It seemed like every goal, everything that went under the review got overturned, went the other way. This is good old hard-nosed hockey. Brock Nelson, who's been playing spectacular, gets it across. Eberle throws it in front to Kuhnhackl, who's doing a great job. Sneaks in behind Granlund there, sneaks in between 3 Vancouver Canucks, excuse me. Any of them could have had him. Goes to the net, hard-nosed hockey, and I got to be honest with you, that's pretty much about how 90% of how my goals were. They went off some body part and not intentional, but somehow find the way back to the net. And kudos to the Islanders for kind of getting back on top there. They let Vancouver back into the game a bit, and Kuhnhackl gets on the board.
It's the first multi-goal game of his career. The first one was a memorable tally. Tell us what this makes you think as you watch it unfold. Weeksy and Perry. Plenty of zone time for the home team. Watch this. That went in. Kuhnhackl sweeping it by Markstrom. That's a goal.
It reminds me of the Ovechkin goal in Arizona, but without him walking through the entire team. That was like a lacrosse move. I'm getting into that now with my kiddos with lacrosse, and boy, what a great shot here by Kuhnhackl from his back. I'm not even sure really where it went in yet, but just sticking with it. I like how he's just finding space there. That's goal scorers. They find dead areas, find space, gets into the corner, wins a battle.
Wow.
No way.
Wow.
Oh, do that again. Do that again.
One more time. Are you kidding me? Incredible.
Look at that shot.
Incredible.
That's right. That was a reverse Ovi when Ovi had that one back in the day.
We won't mention who that goal was scored on.
No, it's a friend of ours.
Our former colleague, our good friend. 4-2, the score there. Speaking of goalies, Bobby Lou is having himself a night. Did you know Bobby Lou was once traded for Mark Parrish? More on that right after this.
NHL Tonight is presented by American Express, the powerful backing of American Express. Don't live life without it.
Sports fans are celebrating exclusive new fan gear by Fanatics. Unique, one-of-a-kind designs you won't find anywhere else. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Selling on Poshmark is crazy simple. All you have to do is post a picture, add a description, add a price, and you're pretty much good to go. Right now I'm selling Air Jordans and Nikes and Adidas, anything really performance related or style related.
Download the free Poshmark app now.
It's Newton's first law. An object in motion wants to stay in motion. An object at rest wants to stay at rest. But major medical research says staying at rest, like sitting all day at work, may trigger obesity, high blood pressure, and back pain. But staying in motion, standing more and sitting less, burns calories, decreases back pain, and according to a university study, can increase productivity by up to 46%. That's why there's Veridesk.
As a person who loves yoga, I was so glad to bring flexibility into my workplace.
It's absolutely the best work improvement I've ever made.
Veridesk is crafted to last a lifetime and comes fully assembled, ready to work. If you don't love it within 30 days, we'll take it back. A lot of companies buy Veridesk for their people. See if yours will. Go to Veridesk.com and order your Veridesk today.
I have suffered my whole life with muscle cramping. When I tried TheraWorks, all the cramping went away. I initially applied it at the bottom of my foot and my thigh, and right away, I was able to sleep through the night. TheraWorks is definitely a breakthrough. It's a little miracle. I can cook again. I can sit at my computer for 8 hours a day with my mouse and typing, and I don't hurt.
TheraWorks Relief is my choice for preventing and relieving muscle cramps. Make it yours, too.
Get TheraWorks Relief today at TheraWorksRelief.com.
On the fly, tonight after the games on NHL Network.
Welcome back to NHL Tonight, presented by American Express. Let's take a ride back to June 24, 2000. You know the names here because this was a personal experience. Mark Parrish, what do you remember of this moment?
Oh, I remember it vividly, actually. I remember that trade and getting a phone call from Brian Murray that morning. And it was groundbreaking for many reasons. I was shocked that I got traded as a young guy. Of course, we all have those aspirations that, hey, I'm going to play with Florida. I'm going to be Steve Yzerman. I'm going to play with Florida my entire career. And well, I lasted 2. When Brian called me that morning to let me know I got traded, obviously I was hurt. I was heartbroken. I was looking forward to some things. I was playing with idols of mine. Got traded to the Islanders. Brian, who'd you get traded for? Who did I get traded for, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I traded you and Oleg for Jokinen and Luongo. What was that?
Excuse me?
Wow, I don't blame you at all. Good luck, Brian. Literally, I was 2 years into my NHL career, and I was thinking, that's a bad trade.
And you were part of it.
I was part of it.
Wow.
And every single year since, I have been either number 1 or number 2 in the worst trades in Islanders history.
And you know what? It's so beyond your control, so beyond our control. I was in the Bury trade. It's the same thing, going back the other way, and all the huge expectations and everybody. When you get Hall of Fame players, it's already lopsided because that's why they're Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
So when they're going the other way, it's already tough. And those expectations as young players are almost impossible to fill.
What makes it better is hearing them tell the story and do Murray's voice. It's amazing how uncanny the impersonation is. Perhaps there'll be time for that later. Bobby Lou and his team up 2-0 in the third.
To the counter rush, it's Couturier with Lindblom. Couturier for Lindblom. He gets a step from the angle, centers it back, the shot. They score! Voracek beating Luongo. Flyers within one. Marked down the save at the other end by Elliott as he kept the Flyers within two, and then they get within one courtesy of Voracek. But the Flyers had...
Boy, you know, even though I got traded for the guy, I've got a boatload of respect, and I'm a big fan of Bert's. And when a guy like this has got a chance at a shutout, the one thing you're hoping is don't be cheesy, be a nice goal. Boy, oh boy, is that a nice goal. I mean, east to west goes from boards, hash marks to hash marks, and Voracek just puts it right up onto the bar. That is a beautiful goal. Luongo is still there, still almost could have made the save. Hats off to a great game thus far by Mr. Luongo.
No question. I like the way the Flyers are entering that neutral zone and then the O-zone as they get that zone, that blue line, very easily, and lost behind the coverage is Voracek. But how about this dish? Look at that dish by Lindblom all the way across, going dot to dot, and pinpoint laser accuracy from Jacob Voracek. Nice shot by him.
The Panthers, remember, came into this one winners of 4 in a row by a cumulative score of 17-6. As Weeksy points out, they really turned things around once Bobby Lou got back in the cage. They've got a 2-1 lead in the third. This guy needs no introduction the world over. Look at the kids looking on from behind. The superstar, Connor McDavid, getting ready for action. Habs visiting the Oil at Rogers Place. His hands are ridiculous. Let me state the obvious. Wow. Getting ready to go to work.
NHL Tonight is presented by American Express, the powerful backing of American Express. Don't live life without it.
A better SUV dares to ask why not. Like, why not versatile? Master of all seasons, all the prizes kind of versatile. Why not turn up the comfort? First class comfort. Why not make it rugged?
Real rugged.
But also smart. And of course, reliable. Friend picking you up at midnight, reliable. And why not end with a big statement? Honda, awarded Best SUV Brand for 2018.
When I say drivers who switched from Geico to Esurance saved an average of $412, you probably won't believe me, but you can believe this. Real Esurance employee Nancy Abraham. Look her up online. Esurance. It's surprisingly painless.
This is Wednesday Night Hockey, where the greatest goal scorers come to play. St. Louis looks to light it up in Chicago, led by their main man, Vlad Tarasenko. But the Windy City's Patrick Kane can't stop blowing past the opposition. Get ready for a Wednesday Night Hockey doubleheader beginning 8 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN.
Is your credit card debt driving you batty?
We're going up! Just like your credit card fees and interest rates.
Always fear, the debt suckers are here. One call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your back. Consolidated Credit will lower your interest rates, consolidate your bills into one easy payment, and get you out of debt fast. Call Consolidated Credit and get your life back.
Call 800-234-8905. 800-234-8905.
We all love the weekend.
How deep is your love?
It's when we finally get to do our favorite things.
And since our favorite thing is hockey, we're setting you up with an amazing lineup of live games. This is gonna be something great. Featuring some of the best players the world has ever seen. Get ready. This is it.
It was a beauty. What a shot.
Ready or not, here we go. Here's what's coming up on this week's Hockey Weekend.
To Jersey, 2-1. Devils in front.
Whoa, back in 83. Just in case the Russians were able to get over here, the Devils had drafted them.
Here's Crosby racing into the Devils zone. Crosby, power move, saved by Kincaid, but Gensel scored on a rebound. Jake Gensel has tied up the game.
That's too bad. Kincaid makes a great save initially. Sidney Crosby. Then he's banged into by Sidney Crosby's skate. There's no way he has an opportunity to make a save. Now, I don't know. We'll have to take a look if there's going to be a goaltender interference challenge. Crosby cuts hard. I think there might be a challenge there. One more look at it. Bryce, what do you see down there?
Not sure Bryce can hear us. Vatanen was arguing with the referee. We'll wait to see if John Hines is going to let play continue. Penguins are lined up for the face-off. It's not going to happen yet.
Well, that's a slick play there. But go ahead and take that, Perry.
Well, my first reaction to is Sidney Crosby going to get a penalty for that?
Because of the Wilson play?
Right? I mean, it's just not intentional. I don't see, and now to go along with it, God, I got to keep talking. I'm defending goalies with Weeksy right next to me.
You're doing a great job.
How is that not goal interfering? Not intentional. He gets a little shot. But how is Kincaid supposed to make a play on this rebound? It's just, he literally gets spun like a top.
He does.
No, it's not intentional. And it shouldn't be a penalty, just like Wilson shouldn't have been a penalty.
And this is incidental contact, no question about that. We can see that. As you see Sid leading the rush, taking it strong take, runs out of racetrack. But in doing so, he ends up taking out that blocker side pad. Let's hear the call.
Following the coach's challenge was the actions of the defensive player. There's no goaltender interference, this is a goal.
Well, there you go. I guess I don't know the game of hockey.
What about the point he made about the defensive player, Coleman?
I see, yeah, he does give him a little shot. I get that. But so did Suter. Weeksy just read my mind. It's kind of what the coaches and a lot of people in the NHL, it's the consistency. Where is that consistency? They don't really know what to challenge anymore and what not to, because from game to game, from town to town, there's just no consistency.
Players and coaches always say that. That's what you want, is consistency. Here are the Oilers at home against the Habs. 3 minutes gone by as we jump in.
From Benning, and he whistles the wide, and it goes in. A favorable bounce for the home team, and it's 1-0 for Edmonton.
A lot of room given to this line of Edmonton by the Montreal Canadiens. This is a bounce right now the Oilers needed. They want to...
Well, this is why you put get pucks and bodies to the net. Right here, Benning, just a cannon. Comes off the dasher quick. Niemi, not much he can do on that. He barely got his head turned around by the time it banks off his foot. It's just an unfortunate bounce for Montreal and a highlight reel goal for Benning.
Absolutely right. Couldn't have said that any better. Absolutely right. And keep an eye on this game because they've reunited Draisaitl and McDavid as well on that top line. So let's see how that plays out for the Oilers as this game progresses.
The intercept. Here comes Max Domi back the other way. Domi shot scores. Max Domi on the turnover. Ties the game at 1.
MAX Max. Max Domi is bringing max returns with the max impact for the Montreal Canadiens so far this year. Here it is from the overhead cam. I love this. This is football style. Watch the pieces on the chessboard. Bottom middle of your screen.
Oh, wow.
How quick was that shot? This is where he's different this year. I spoke to Olympic medalist Mark McCoy, who worked with him this summer in Toronto, talking about that acceleration, getting that separation from players, and that speed. No weights, No strength training, all acceleration and core work, all of that coming into play. Watch him just gain separation here, Perry, and then the laser.
And you can see how much confidence he's playing with again now this year and how deliberate he is. You see him looking for any help here? No. He's got his eyes up on that net. He takes one quick step, in stride, high glove, just a beautiful goal.
Sure. Top corner. And it's now a 7-game point streak. There were some that wondered if the son of Ty was on his way out of the league. This fits with the Montreal Canadiens. During this 7-game point streak, his numbers ludicrous. 5 goals, 6 assists. When people wondered, was he on his way out of the league, you know what he was probably thinking? Domi don't play that. He's sticking around. He's scoring. He's their leader in goals, assists, and points. You tell me, you guys played in the league. That seems pretty good.
It is, but no more Domi the Clown.
No.
That's the difference. That's the difference. All right, so he's now saying, I'm going to play a skilled game. I'm going to go back to what I was as a youngster growing up. I'm going to go back to what made me successful. I'm going to go back to where I was an elite prospect coming out of the London Knights, coming into the Arizona Coyotes. My dad was tough. He had an excellent career in his role, but I'm a different player, and I'm not skating around looking for scrums. I'm not getting upset in scrums. I'm just focused on being a playmaker and being an impact player. You said it best when you said he wasn't looking for help. He knew exactly. That was a 1-on-5, and he's like, no problem. I'll handle this myself. Gone.
Boom.
So you could see that when the puck's on his tape, his first, second, third instinct, either shoot it, skate, and or make a play. And that's really evident, very different than what we saw from him last season.
With his quickness, he can bring in that dynamic play. And he's playing with such a chip on his shoulder. He's playing like he has something to prove. And holy cow, is it fun to watch. Yeah. You can just see the fire in his eyes when he gets that puck. Gets up, just stares at that goalie. He knows where he wants to go with that thing. By the time he gets it off, he's already celebrating in his head.
Absolutely. Hey, let's just revisit that. I don't know if we're able to recall that goal. But what I love about this, all the different elements, but the celly. The celebration, watch him after he scores that goal. If I know when we could dial that up, you're going to see the celebration from him. Now, all the things you said were true. Okay, here go the Oilers, deep in their D zone. All right, nice job in the neutral zone. Force a turnover. Watch Max Domi after the goal, though. Laser beam. Once it goes a close-up, watch his face. Look. I'm here. Whoa. I got my Movember stash. I'm here. What? You see him? He's like, what? Without saying it. Yeah. What? Anybody want any?
Wow.
What do you have to say?
Anybody else want to doubt me?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Routine.
You can see that. You can see that in that post-goal celebration.
Class.
Yeah. It's nice.
Skill.
Nice.
Wow.
Playing great hockey right now. Max Domi's been awesome. Got to say, he's been amazing for them.
No
Perry?
Incredible. And such a breath of fresh air for Montreal. Some frustrating times the Canadians have been going through.
True.
And now, right now, to have somebody stepping up and leading this team with Pacioretty, with Weber out, somebody that just comes in, a new, fresh, new face, clean slate. Awesome.
But let me double down on that. You know one thing that's really important for any market, but especially in a market like Montreal, you need guys that have swag.
He's got oodles of swag.
And I don't care what they say, and I don't care what kind of they try to spin to me. You need guys that have swag, that want to play there, that have that. They've got that little drool on the that little drool that they can go there and say, I can handle this. I'm not afraid of the jerseys. I'm not afraid of the history. I'm not afraid of the banners. I'm going to make plays. Max Domi's shown that so far.
24 banners up in the rafters. It's not for everyone, but he clearly is flourishing. To the state of hockey, 2-0. The reigning Cup champs with a second period lead.
Burakovsky works to the middle for the Caps. Burakovsky creates space. Looks similar to the play when he set up Orlov for Washington's first goal. Back to Kempny, who dumps it in. Connolly behind the net. Eller tries to tuck one in. Burakovsky scores on the backhand. And the Capitals have a 3-goal lead.
Boy, this right here, this is how Washington Capitals won a Stanley Cup right here. Relentless ozone pressure. They get it in. They're nothing. They get it to the net. They take it to the net. I don't think the Wild knew who they were covering or which guy. There were so many jerseys buzzing around here, winning puck battles, getting to the puck first, taking it to the net. And finally, Burakovsky just gets lost back here. Ooh, Mr. Dumba's having a little rough night there, I think. Loses his man there back door just yet again and again. Devan Dubnyk is just, he's under a firing squad right now. The poor guy.
Totally is. And you know what? Watch Devan Dubnyk. He has to go from post to post. But I like the stop up behind the net by Connolly. And how about Lars Eller playing with jam? I got to tell you something. We talked about Montreal. Lars Eller had some moments in Montreal, but he had big moments in Washington last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes, he did.
He relished the pressure. He played through the middle. He was willing to pay the price to make plays. And that's one of the things about Washington. That's what you just said, relentless ozone pressure. Old school, new school. You get the power with the skill. They're not perimeter. They're not shooting any 40-foot wristers from the boards because they're afraid to attack the middle of the ice. This is a team that's willing to work to create, to score goals as well.
And they are incredibly fun to watch with that. I think you nailed it right on the head. Old school, new school. The game hasn't changed as a whole, as a game. You score goals by getting to the net. You got to get it deep. You got to get in there and do the hard work. Got to get the cycle game in. And yes, there's the new school. Let that skill take over now. It wasn't the ugly, head button and banking it in off my shoulder like I used to do back in the day. These guys actually have hands and know what they're doing with the puck when they get into those areas.
Tremendous skill on display on this night. That takes us to Hot on Ice, presented by Icy Hot. When these guys react to a goal like they did this one, that tells us it is special. Tom Kuhnhackl and the Isles with possession in the offensive end. Watch this closely. That puck's in the net. Holy smokes. What a shot.
Like you said, old school, new school. They still got to get into the corners. They still got to get the puck battles. And I guess even when you're falling down on your butt, you can still be dangerous these days. Kuhnhackl, holy cow, with that lacrosse-style move. And then again, here, getting to the corners, getting the loose pucks, getting open for your players, going to the net, staying relentless, staying with the puck. Who cares what body part it goes off of, as long as it goes in.
And he's been hot. 3 goals in his last 4 games. 2 in this game. First time in his career that he has a multi-goal effort. Now, that first one, these guys are like encyclopedias. Instantly, they're like, whoa, that reminds us of a particular goal from the past. The Yotes fans may want to avert their eyes. Watch the way this unfolds and the way he whips it from down on the ice into the net. That got you immediately thinking, Perry?
This little Mr. Alex Ovechkin, earlier in his career, they just stayed with it. They just stay with it. They're never out of the play. And this is that new school skill. They just don't ever quit. Maybe that was my problem.
I mean, you just talked about your kiddos playing lacrosse. Well, if these aren't lacrosse goals, I don't know what are.
I mean, I know it's hockey or watching it. It's a hockey goal, but when did we start learning this? When did we start working on this kind of thing?
So true. And to have the presence of mind. Wow. To have the presence of mind to do that while you're down and clearly not out. But, I mean, this is just a Picasso that Kuhnhackl ends up painting. He'll remember that goal the rest of his career.
And so will Markstrom, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be on highlight packages, of course, here on the NHL Network throughout the world.
Yes.
What a play.
Part of what sold the Ovechkin goal was the reaction of the coach of the Yotes. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Gretzky? The way he looked up at the board like, are you serious? Incredible. Now, this year, we've already seen some great goals, including this one. Neil Pionk of the Rangers. Some consider this the goal of the year so far. Spinorama, I'd like to introduce you to Robert Gordon Orr.
That's what I was going to say. Attaboy.
Current champ on NHL Now for goal of the year. That's a beauty, right?
Channeling his inner Brian Leach, and I'm guessing he learned how to score that goal by watching TV in northern Minnesota.
The common thread. The state of hockey. So we just saw 2 spectacular goals. Is the one we just saw, the lacrosse flair from Kuhnhackl, going to unseat that as goal of the year?
What do you got?
Tough
you know, and this is not just because I'm a Minnesota guy, but I got to give it to Pionk. The end-to-end, the spinorama, just to start it off the movie, just to spin it off, and not to take anything away from Mr. Kuhnhackl, but there was a little bit of desperation in there, too. He didn't really have much else to do at that point. And Pionk, by the time, and he's a defenseman. That's a defenseman. You don't see defensemen, once they get that corner on another defenseman, drive that far post like that. That's a power forwards finish with skilled spinorama, figure skater start. You know, just overall, I got to give it to Pionk.
Yeah, I do too. I second that. Yeah, he did everything on that goal. He started out at Macy's. He was there ahead of the Christmas Spectacular, the Santa Claus Parade. Then he came right down. He went out in front of Garden. He was handing out chestnuts, roasting on oven, went inside, got in there, the Delta Club, got a free shrimp. Then he made the, I mean, come on, man. He had it all going on that goal. Come on, Tony, stay focused here.
You are unbelievable.
You too, Audio Joe. Stay focused back there.
Time for a break. Oh, we got Beast Mode in the building.
Marshawn Lynch.
That's amazing.
Oh, wait a second. Look at this. Taylor Hall is capable of...
Wait, what?
Oh,
No.
dear. On his first night back.
Marcus
It's all happening.
Foligno.
It's all happening.
Hot on Ice is presented by Icy Hot. Rise from pain.
Sports fans are gearing up at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Born in the Rockies, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper to refresh you for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
It's Newton's first law. An object in motion wants to stay in motion. An object at rest wants to stay at rest. But major medical research says staying at rest, like sitting all day at work, may trigger obesity, high blood pressure, and back pain. But staying in motion, standing more and sitting less, burns calories, decreases back pain, and according to a university study, can increase productivity by up to 46%. That's why there's Varidesk.
As a person who loves yoga, I was so glad to bring flexibility into my workplace.
It's absolutely the best work improvement I've ever made.
Varidesk is crafted to last a lifetime and comes fully assembled, ready to work. If you don't love it within 30 days, we'll take it back. A lot of companies buy Varidesk for their people. See if yours will. Go to Varidesk.com and order your Varidesk today.
If you suffer from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, TheraWorks Relief can help. With daily application, this fast-acting foam is clinically proven to prevent muscle cramps before they start.
I've had muscle cramps for as long as I can remember, but now that I'm using TheraWorks Relief, they have stopped. This is the only thing in my entire life that has actually worked.
TheraWorks Relief is my choice for preventing and relieving muscle cramps. Make it yours too.
Get TheraWorks Relief today at TheraWorksRelief.com.
When it's time to sell your home, there's a lot of money on the line. How can you trust your real estate agent will get it right? There's good news. With HomeLight, you can compare actual performance data on thousands of agents near you, so you know who sells quickly, who sells for the best price. We'll match you with the perfect agent for your needs. And best of all, it's free. Sell your home for more money. Go to HomeLight.com today.
Welcome back to NHL Tonight, presented by American Express. Back to the Rock, where it's the Pens and the Devs tied at 2 in the third.
Palmieri along the near wall to work this ahead. Zajac will play this across. Here's Hall. Scores! Taylor Hall with a move on to Smith, and the Devils regain the lead.
Well, it's only a matter of time until the reigning MVP is going to put his stamp on a hockey game right here. And he's showing why he leads that team right there. And, man, I tell you, I used to love watching goalies get beat 5-hole like this because you actually had to have patience and wait for them to open their legs. I never had that, so I've always loved this. You can just see the subtle little move, waits for it to open it up, slides it in at the Smith. Oh, right there. Just that little extra split second that it takes to wait for that 5-hole to open. Yeah, that's the part I never had.
Travis Zajac with career assist 300, hitting that milestone as well. But it's the reigning MVP, Taylor Hall. But here's the play by Travis Zajac, not forcing anything, putting it to space, allowing Taylor Hall to skate into it and get that all-important go-ahead goal for the Debs.
1 and 2 for him in the game so far. They have 3 goals in the game. He's been key, to state the obvious. Discover takes us on the ice. Final minute. Flyers down by a goal at home, and we're watching on NHL Tonight.
It's Konechny digging it free up the wall. Giroux got it back to Gostisbehere. Moves it across. Voracek holds, waits, back to Gostisbehere. Winds, fires, blocked. Bounces to Voracek. Waits. Nothing there. Across to Giroux. Giroux holding. Giroux all the way across. He's trying to go in front, and it's intercepted by Ekblad, and he clears.